Most people dream of becoming rich, but they do it loudly, showing off, chasing quick gains, and trying to impress others. And that's why they stay broke. The real secret is this. The wealthiest people you'll ever meet often look ordinary. They drive a simple car, live in a modest home, and you wouldn't even guess how much they're worth. Why? Because they understand that true wealth is built in silence. In this video, I'll share 10 silent hacks that can change your financial destiny if you apply them consistently. Stay with me until the end, because each hack builds on the next, and together, they form a roadmap to lasting wealth. The invisible wealth mode. One of the most powerful ways to grow rich quietly is by refusing to upgrade your lifestyle every time your income increases. Most people get a raise and immediately think, perfect, now I can buy a new car, move into a bigger apartment, or start eating out every night. But here's the truth. Every time you upgrade your lifestyle, you cancel out your progress. Wealthy people play a completely different game. When they get a raise, they treat that money as invisible. Instead of spending it, they automatically redirect it into investments. For example, imagine you were making $60,000 a year and then bumped up to $70,000. Instead of upgrading your lifestyle, you continue living as if you still earn $60,000. That extra $10,000, invested over just 3 years, can grow into more than $40,000 inside an index fund. While your friends are stressing over rent increases and credit card bills, you're building an asset base that will eventually buy you freedom. The invisible wealth mode is about discipline. It's not flashy, but it is the foundation that turns raises into true wealth. The automation army. If you rely on willpower to save and invest, you're going to fail. Why? Because human beings are wired for instant gratification. We see extra money, and before we know it, it's gone. The wealthy avoid this trap by building what I call their automation army. They set up systems that move money before they even touch it. Here's how it works. The day your paycheck hits, an automatic transfer moves a fixed percentage, let's say 15%, into a separate account. Same day, same time, without you lifting a finger. That money is gone before you can be tempted to spend it. And here's the kicker. You can supercharge this strategy by using a high-yield savings account or routing it directly into investments. While traditional banks offer you 0.01% interest, basically nothing, high-yield accounts offer 3 to 5%. That's the difference between earning just a few cents a year or hundreds of dollars for doing nothing different. Imagine saving $500 a month. In a regular account, you'd have $6,000 plus maybe 60 cents in interest after a year. In a high-yield account, that same $6,000 turns into $6,240. Free money, just by setting up the right system. The wealthiest people don't depend on discipline. They depend on automation. The index fund secret. When it comes to investing, most people get caught chasing shiny objects, the next hot crypto, the stock that can't lose, or whatever trend Twitter is hyping this week. Wealthy people don't play that game. They know boring beats flashy every single time. That's why they quietly pour their money into index funds. An index fund is basically a basket of the entire stock market. You're buying small slices of hundreds of companies all at once. Historically, the S&P 500 has averaged about 10% returns over the last 80 years. Some years you're up, some years you're down, but the long-term trend is undeniable. Steady growth. Here's what that looks like. Invest $100 a week starting at age 25, and by 65, you're sitting on roughly $1.4 million, all because you chose boring over exciting. Nobody's bragging about index funds at parties, and that's the point. You're building real wealth while everyone else argues about the next moonshot stock. When the hype fades, you'll have a portfolio that quietly grew into financial freedom. The secret? Boring is beautiful. Master the windfall rule. Windfalls, like tax refunds, bonuses, or unexpected cash, can either accelerate your wealth or destroy your discipline. Most people see a $1,200 refund and instantly think, vacation money, or time for a shopping spree. But here's the cost of that mindset. If you had invested that same $1,200 into the market, it could grow into $12,000 in 20 years. That weekend getaway actually cost you 10 times more in future wealth. Wealthy people flip the script by following a 70-30 windfall rule. Every time they receive extra money, 70% goes directly to investments, while 30% can be enjoyed guilt-free. That means if you get $200, $840 grows your portfolio, while $360 is free to spend on whatever you like. The beauty of this rule is balance. You get the immediate satisfaction of enjoying some of it, while still feeding your future. Over time, those small choices turn into serious compounding wealth. The difference between broke and rich isn't how much money you earn, it's how you handle the unexpected. Lifestyle lockdown. One of the hardest but most powerful hacks is freezing your lifestyle even after you start earning more. We've been conditioned to celebrate success by spending. Better car, bigger house, fancier dinners. But every lifestyle upgrade comes with new bills, new stress, and less room to grow wealth. Wealthy people fight this urge by enforcing a lifestyle lockdown. Here's how it works. Every time your income increases, you continue living at the same spending level for at least 1 year. Let's say you go from $45,000 to $55,000 a year. Instead of celebrating with a new apartment or expensive vacations, you keep living like you still make $45,000. That $10,000 raise, even after taxes, could be invested each year. In 10 years, that alone could turn into over $100,000. I personally know people who stayed in their college apartment for 2 years after landing a high-paying job. The money they saved became the down payment for their first home. Lifestyle lockdown is tough. It feels like you're missing out. But what you're really doing is buying your freedom faster than everyone else. The stealth side hustle. Most people think building wealth means starting a flashy business or going viral on TikTok. But wealthy people know the real secret: invisible income streams. These are small, quiet side hustles that bring in money without consuming your life. Think about skills you already have: editing videos, writing emails, organizing data, or creating designs. Small businesses pay hundreds of dollars for those tasks. I know someone who spends just 2 hours on Sundays editing podcast transcripts. That's an extra $500 a month, which they invest straight into a Roth IRA. In 20 years, that tiny side hustle could be worth over $200,000. And the beauty? Nobody even knows you're doing it. While others brag about entrepreneur life on social media, you're quietly stacking assets. You don't need to reinvent yourself. You just need to monetize skills you already have and direct that money into investments. Wealth isn't always built loudly. Sometimes the quiet streams are the ones that build the strongest rivers. The tax advantage play. If you're not using tax-advantaged accounts, you're leaving free money on the table. The government actually rewards you for saving and investing for retirement. Take the 401k in the US, for example. Every dollar you contribute reduces your taxable income. If you make $60,000 and contribute $6,000, you're only taxed on $54,000. That's about $200 in savings. But here's where it gets crazy. If your employer offers a match, that's literally free money. If they match 50% of your contributions and you're not at least contributing the minimum to get that match, you're throwing away thousands of dollars every single year. And it's not just the money today, it's the compounding over decades. Employer matches may seem small now, but in 30 years they could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Think of it this way: not taking advantage of this is like rejecting part of your paycheck every year. Wealthy people never leave free money on the table. Time beats timing. Everyone wants to time the market, buy at the lowest point, sell at the highest. But here's the truth: even professionals can't do it consistently. Wealthy people don't waste energy on timing. They focus on time in the market. The earlier you start, the bigger your advantage. Imagine Twin A invests $200 a month from age 22 to 32, then stops completely. In total, they invest $24,000. Twin B waits until 32, then invests $200 every month until age 62. They invest $72,000 over 30 years. The result? Both end up with about $565,000 by retirement. The difference? Twin A invested $48,000 less, but started earlier. That's the power of compounding. The lesson is simple. Start now, even if it's $25 a week. Wealth grows quietly in the background, and time, not timing, is your biggest ally. The emergency fund shield. Before you can build wealth, you need to protect it. That's where the emergency fund comes in. Having 3 to 6 months of expenses tucked away might not sound exciting, but it's a financial force field. Without it, every unexpected expense, car repair, medical bill, job loss, becomes a crisis. You'll be forced to sell investments at the worst time or rack up high-interest credit card debt. Wealthy people avoid this trap by keeping their emergency fund in a high-yield savings account. It doesn't just sit there, it grows quietly while staying liquid. I experienced this myself during a financial crash. When my car's AC broke, I didn't panic. I paid cash, didn't touch investments, and even had money left to buy more stocks on sale. That's the hidden power of the emergency fund. It keeps you calm, gives you options, and prevents setbacks from destroying your progress. Upgrade your circle. Here's the most underrated hack of all: your environment. Countless studies show that your income tends to reflect the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your friends are always talking about luxury brands, expensive trips, and the latest car upgrades, you'll feel pressured to keep up. But if your circle is focused on investments, side hustles, and financial freedom, your habits will shift automatically. Wealthy people are intentional about who they surround themselves with. They seek mentors, peers, and communities that challenge them to grow. Personally, every major financial leap I made came after changing my circle, joining groups where money conversations weren't about spending, but about strategy. Your environment is either pulling you up or dragging you down. Choose wisely, because wealth is not only about what you know, it's about who you learn it from and who you spend your time with. If you're serious about breaking free from survival mode, these 10 hacks aren't optional, they're essential. The truth is, wealth is rarely built in the spotlight, but always in the shadows of consistency and discipline. Now here's the real question. Will you apply them, or just keep watching videos hoping for change? If you want to prepare for the world that's coming, don't stop here. Go watch our video. 7 skills everyone needs for the future economy. That's where you'll discover the abilities that will matter more than degrees or job titles. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and join us. We release 2 videos every week to help you grow, escape the financial traps, and finally live on your own terms.